Hello, friends, and a happy Friday. I am pretty sure I'm going to get this out on Friday. It might be tomorrow morning on Saturday, but I am going off the books here for a minute because normally I post episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, and you may have noticed that yesterday I did not post anything. I actually had an episode totally ready to go, insulin and sugar, and I literally had it all recorded. I was editing it, and I just kept having things pop up that were kind of off, but I was like, you know what? It's okay. If you don't know me, I'm a very type A person. I like to, overanalyze things and pick at the details and be super planned ahead. And I've been doing really good so far with this podcast of really just letting God lead and letting go of perfectionism and just knowing that sometimes showing up is enough and it's never going to be perfect, but there's going to be a lot of chances for more conversations. And so I was really trying with this episode to not overthink it, but something in my spirit was just not settling right. And the truth is that the episode was too much. It was simply too much. And I already feel like in this root causes series that there has been a lot of information that I've thrown at you. And I'm doing my best to really keep it short and concise and to not overcomplicate it because there are a lot of nuances about the body and about how all of these things are connected. But my ultimate goal is to show you how these things are connected and how beneficial they are to your overall health, physically, mentally, and spiritually when you align your body in this way. But my goal is not to completely overwhelm you with information that you don't know what to do with. And that is just kind of where I felt like this episode was at. The truth is that the effect of sugar and high insulin levels in your body is really extensive. And I think what we're going to have to do is just have more conversations about this as we move forward together so that we can understand, what this really means. But what I'm going to do is I am going to actually go back to the drawing board. I'm going to simplify things a lot. And I'll re-record the episode and I'll be back next Tuesday with that information for you guys. But ultimately what I decided was, I have been really dedicated to getting these episodes out. I know that you may not know my life personally, but the past couple months have been so busy. There's just one thing after another, like week after week after week. I just cannot escape it no matter how hard I try to pull back and say no to things. It's just been genuinely busy. And we're almost at the end of school. Next week is my kid's last day of school. And I've been doing so good at getting these podcasts out on time. And I have a goal to reach 100 episodes. I told myself when I started setting this up and when I started, I told some close friends, and I'm telling you now so you can help hold me accountable too, that I could not even talk about quitting until I reached 100 episodes, because a lot of people quit after the third episode. The majority of people quit before they even get to the 20th episode. And I think if you make it past episode 20, you're in the top 1% of podcasters because you actually got to episode 20. And that is insane to me. And this will be, I guess, episode 14. So I'm already pretty close to that. I've been really dedicated, and I was just like, God, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to trust you to, just give me the content that you want to share with your people, and your heart for women and their health. And so when I was faced with this idea of not posting an episode on Thursday, I had to really evaluate what does this mean? And ultimately, the numbers are important, yes, because that's my commitment and my dedication to being consistent here for you. But also the quality of what I share with you is so much more important than the quantity. And I didn't just want to throw out an episode that was so overwhelming and just packed with too much information that was really helpful in one sitting. And so I just said, you know what? That's okay. I'm just going to let go of it. I'm going to let go of it and it's going to be okay. So today I honestly have absolutely no notes in front of me. And it's just one of those days. One of those Fridays where I literally have like coffee in one hand and Benadryl in the other. And I woke up this morning and thought it would be a great idea to put on a cream colored shirt. It's going to be so cute. I love this shirt. And then on the way to taking my son to school, I remembered I have to go pick up soil from Home Depot. What am I thinking? Like, why did I wear this cream colored shirt and also like cream colored sandals at the same time so that I could go to the store and pick up soil? Because tomorrow we have to work in the garden and I need the soil. Like, it has to happen today and it has to happen this morning. I can't go home and change because of just how the day's schedule was going to go. And so I literally am like the hot mess express right now. And I just felt like showing up and having an honest conversation with you guys. So I hope you're here for it. Like I said, I literally have no notes. I have my coffee and Benadryl, like, are my best friends today. Why? Because allergies are for real. They're for a real thing. If you listen to the episode about allergies, you know that I have struggled with allergies since I was a child, outdoor allergies, and it does not keep me from going outside. And it's funny because, you know, as a holistic wellness coach, since I have stepped out into this role, sometimes I've had like an inner struggle with being real and being, I guess, what people think that I should be, because now I have this title, like I'm a holistic wellness coach. You know, I'm have this podcast called Tired Mommy Revival, so maybe I should never look like I'm tired ever again. And I really just had to tell myself, like, Jerusha, that is ridiculous. Like, how could you even possibly show up that way? Like, that is so exhausting and so unreal, you know? And the truth is that I have all of our natural allergy remedies around the house. They're literally sitting on the counter. I don't even put them away because they're just like out accessible all the time. We've got the eye drops and the nose spray and the stinging nettle. Oh my gosh, I love stinging nettle. It is absolutely my favorite allergy relief. We've got the essential oils. I've got my allergy tea, which also has stinging nettle in it, and I think it has some spearmint in it too. It's really refreshing and nice. But literally everything is sitting out on the counter. And yet, despite that, sometimes it feels like, yeah, but I'm the wellness coach and I shouldn't need the Benadryl, right? Because I have all my natural remedies. Well, honey, the struggle with the pollen is real. It is for real. And despite all my best efforts and all my gut healing practices and all the different things, your girl still needs Benadryl sometimes. And yesterday I was actually out in the garden for 3 hours and it was super hot, and I totally underestimated how hot it was going to be because it's May and it's that time of year where sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, and sometimes it's cool in the middle. And I thought, okay, the sun is out, but it's not that bad. Like I do every single year. I don't know when I'm going to learn my lesson, but I did it yet again. I went outside without sunscreen on, and not only was I so super hot and the heat made me tired, but I got sunburnt. And then I was out in, you know, dealing with wood and hay and soil, and the wind was blowing with the pollen, and there's only so much I can do. Like, I am just feeling exhausted today. And so I was like, I need some coffee and I need some Benadryl, and I just need to have a real conversation with my peeps on the podcast. And so That's what we're here for right now. Um, Honestly, I think it's important to talk about these things because sometimes in the health world, people who, I guess, what would they call themselves? Influencers, I guess, like health influencers or exercise influencers, whatever, which is not really how I think of myself, but people out there who are, trying to sell products or, get people's attention and, um, you know, talk about wellness in whatever capacity. Sometimes it seems like they're so perfect, right? Like it seems like they never have cravings and they never get exhausted or tired. They never need the medication because they're doing everything naturally. And they're healthy and they're super strict and they never struggle with their discipline and they, never comfort eat and they just have it all together because they're so super healthy. And ultimately, that's not encouraging in the least. Like it makes you feel like not only do they not understand what you're going through, but their level of dedication is so high. It feels unattainable. You're like, not only, I'm not even sure that I want to be where you're at in the first place, but even if I did, I'm not sure that I could even get there. Like you're so intense. And I think it's important, to be real. Like, hey, when I started this podcast, the Tired Mommy Revival, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you, like, the spiritual attack that came on me after I stepped out in faith was insane. I was so unprepared for it. And one of the biggest ways that it showed up was I can't make this up, you guys. I became exhausted and really cranky, especially at my kids. And I felt like such a hypocrite because I literally just put out this podcast and I have this intro that plays at the beginning of every podcast that talks about, hey, I have found the solutions and I show up as a mom with grace and energy and joy. And most days, right? Most days, that's the caveat there. And here I was like being exhausted and cranky and, just feeling so off. And I was like, what is going on? And, I had that inward struggle of like, should I even be doing this? Should I even be doing this podcast right now? Because look at me. Look at me. I am the hot mess express over here. Like I am telling people what to do and I'm not even doing it here at home myself. Ultimately, what I recognized was that the crankiness and being really on edge, there was actually there was a spiritual aspect to it. And once I prayed that off of me, it actually lifted immediately. And that helped me feel so much better. And also, it was confirmation that I was doing the right thing in this podcast because the enemy doesn't attack you when you're doing something useless. Okay, when you're out on your own, doing your own thing apart from God, and there's, nothing holy or divine about it, or, God instructed about it, like, he don't care. He don't even want to bother with you because you're not a threat. But when you step out into what God has called you to do, whether that's starting a business or stewarding your health or getting up to read your Bible in the morning, whatever that is, like the spiritual attack will come because he's like, no, I don't want you continuing in this. So I'm going to attack you in the beginning when you're vulnerable, when you'll believe the lies, and when it's easy to get under your skin and affect you here in the beginning. And so I was like, I've done so many business things over the years, you guys. I can't even tell you. I was in pursuit of the thing that I knew that God had called me to. I just didn't I didn't know what it looked like yet. And so I believe that it was all of it was fruitful in the end because God doesn't let anything go to waste. But this kind of felt like maybe one of those things. Like, am I just doing another thing that's not going to be fruitful? Like, is this my idea and not God's idea? Like, is this even important? Is anybody even going to listen? And when I got spiritually attacked, I was like, I'm on the right track. I know I'm on the right track now. If I didn't know before, I have confirmation now that spiritually the enemy is aware of something that I'm not even fully aware of. And so I have just continued to do it and continue to step out in faith. And I love being here with you guys. And I love having these conversations. And in fact, I would love for you to join the conversation with me too. So it doesn't just feel like I'm talking at you, but we are doing this together. And so please leave a comment or, respond to an email. If you're on my email list, you get, I send you updates about the podcast. I don't spam you whatsoever. You get an email when a podcast comes out and I let you know what it's about. And that's basically it. And if I have sales on my courses or coaching, you'll get some information about that too. But really, that's it. Like, I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to email you 5 times a day. Like, nobody has time for that. So I forgot where I was going with that. But let me just come back to this and say that, I'm a real person. Like, I'm a mom most days. Like, more than anything else, I am a mom. And oftentimes that means that, whether it's, feeling the effects of and symptoms of allergies or, just struggling to figure out how to manage a business and be a mom and keep up with all the meal prepping and work out like I need to and fit all of those things into my schedule. Like, there are days where I show up and I am tired too. There are days when I show up and I didn't put my makeup on and I look tired, whether I actually am or not, because I have permanent dark circles under my eyes. And I'm going to look tired. And sometimes I genuinely am tired. And ultimately, I think that that's what makes this right. You doing this with you, because I'm not perfect. I don't, feel amazing and have incredible energy every single day. But I'm like, hey, mama, guess what? God has showed me something. He has taught me some things about my health. And sometimes I know what I need to do. It's just a matter of being like, coming back and saying, okay, God, I got off track and help me figure out how to get there again, because I know that these things are helpful and beneficial, and I know that you desire for me to do them. And so help me get there again in the midst of what's going on in this season, because it looks different than the last season. Help me get there again. And I know the right things. I just have to figure out how to do them and lean on God's help and support for that. And so ultimately, it's not that I'm leading this perfect, amazing, energetic, awesome life every single day, but I'm saying, hey, mama, I get it. I am here with you. Tired Mommy Revival. Let's do it together, because it's one thing to be exhausted for a day or even a week or maybe even a month, but to live out our, years or decades of exhaustion, to live out our motherhood in a constant state of exhaustion, that's not what God designed us for. And I'm here to do that with you. Let's do it together. Let's remind each other of the thing that you know that you need to do, but you lost track or you lost motivation or something shifted and now you need help being like, hey, let me hold you accountable. Let's get back to it. Hey, remember how good this thing is for you. Let's get back on it. Let's do it again. And just encouraging each other in this journey, because one of the reasons I am so passionate about helping not just women in their health, which I am, but moms specifically, is because it's so dang hard to take care of yourself in motherhood. You have a million demands. If you think that you were exhausted or short on time before you have children, like, as a mom, you're like laughing right now. You're like, you don't even know the meaning of exhausted. You don't even know the meaning of busy. You think you have no time. You don't even understand what that is. Like, and to have so many needs, thrown at you every single day, and to have so many things on your plate, and then to show up and take care of yourself too, and feel good and energetic and joyful and at peace and patient through all of that is a huge thing. And even if you figure it out in one season, a season will shift. Like, for example, if you start eating really healthy in January, which is just like an amazing time to start, not because everybody else is setting New Year's resolutions or even that you need to set a New Year's resolution, but it's a calmer time of year. And I can even say from experience that somehow I always come out of January and February thinking, I was busy, but with what? Like, what was I actually busy with? I don't even know what happened. But in comparison to the rest of the year, it's a pretty chill time of year. It's a really good time to invest in your health because there's space to do it. But as you get closer to spring, things start picking up. We've got, we're running around for sports with our kids. Like me, I have to start the garden, and that's a ton of work, and we're outside a lot. And then, like, we're coming into right now, the kids are getting ready to be out of school, and then what was already becoming a little bit strained, like, just totally flops once summer begins and your kids are home all the time, and you're like, my schedule and my rhythm is like totally off now. And if you homeschool and your schedule is consistent, maybe you continue to kind of school through the summer and you have figured this out in some capacity, please share with us what's working for you. So if I would love to talk about that and share some of what you guys are sharing with me, with our audience, so we can all benefit from that together. But I don't know, for me, it always seems like I get so off every summer, and I go into it knowing that it's going to be tough. And I make a plan, and it's like a super great plan, and then somehow it doesn't even happen, like, in the least, and the whole thing ends up getting totally thrown away. And then all of a sudden it's time for school again, and then I have to try to somehow recover a routine that I haven't had in months. And so as moms, like, there's nothing consistent about our lives. Like, it is constantly changing. Just when we think we've figured out one child, like, they go through a growth spurt and then something is different. Our lives are so inconsistent that it's really hard to build consistency. But also, I think that there's something beautiful about doing it in the messiness. And I really feel God's heart saying, I have more for my women than being exhausted and worn down. And so it is worth it to me to show up and talk to you guys and have these conversations and to encourage you, because oftentimes when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. I'm like, oh, girl, remember this. Remember how bad sugar is for you. You can't be eating it all the time. I know you're stressed and you're busy and you didn't have time to meal prep your sugar-free things that are way healthier and lower carb and make you feel better. But that doesn't mean that you can go start eating ice cream every night because you're going to feel terrible. I am literally like reminding myself of those things too and walking this journey with you too. And so I hope that you were encouraged by that, by my vulnerability and complete lack of perfection. But also, like, I'm so passionate about health and wellness, and I'm so passionate about showing up to do the job that God has called me to do, or the assignment that He's called me to in this season, better than I have before. And I've had a lot of seasons of being really defeated and depleted and just lost for answers and lost about direction and what to do and where to go next and how to handle everything. And I've had seasons of feeling like I was falling apart and I didn't know where to go or if I could even continue to do this. But I knew that I had to keep showing up as a mom, as a person, as a daughter of God, as a wife. And God didn't let me give up, and he didn't give up on me through the journey. And since then, I've learned a lot of things. But like I said, just because I know them doesn't mean they always come naturally to me or that they're always easy. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it to pursue your health and to show up day after day and to try again and season after season to say, okay, we got off track, but let's get back on track, because I know that I feel better. I know that I show up better. I know that I'm closer to God when I steward my health. And so I hope that you're encouraged by this. It's been 25 minutes of me rambling things that I didn't plan on saying, or I didn't know where I was going with this. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Let me just say a prayer. I just feel led to say a prayer. So let's do that together. Lord, thank you. Thank you for bringing us to this place together, God. Thank you for joining your women together in unity, Lord, in the pursuit of you and in every beautiful way that you created us, body, soul, and spirit, God. Father, I pray that you would build us up. I pray for every woman listening right now that you would build them up in every season of where they're at, God. If they feel like they're failing, if they feel like they're exhausted and they don't know how to show up today, God, I pray that you would just meet them right where they are at. I pray that you would speak to them and that you would comfort them. And I pray that you would remind them that they can unload their burden on you, God. That they don't have to carry the weight on their shoulders all alone, Lord, but you are there to help lift the burden off of them, God. And they may not know exactly what they need or what to even pray for right now, but they know that they need you. And God, I pray that you would reveal to them that you are a good Father, and that you are looking after them today, and that you will lead them to every good thing that you need them and you want them to have, Lord, because you care about her. You care about her health. You care about her thriving in this world. And you have a call on her life, whether it's to show up for her babies today, or whether it's to go out and to minister to somebody else, God, or anything in between. You have a purpose for her, and you care about her ability to show up in the way that you have created her. And I pray that you would just uplift her, God, that you would hold her tight and remind her that you've got her. You've got her in this season, Lord. You see her, and you are sending help. You're sending help. You're sending angels out on assignment right now to be with her and to strengthen her in every way that she is going to need it, in the ways that she is aware and the ways that she is not even aware yet. God, your goodness is going out over her. And I thank you, God, for what you're doing in my life, what you're doing in the life of every single woman who is involved in this beautiful community, who is standing up to say we're not going to live like this. We're not going to settle for the ways of the world, of being exhausted and defeated and depleted, because we are women of God and He has more for us. I thank you for them, God, and I pray your blessing over them, and I pray that you would bless their weekend as they go forth in Jesus' name. I will see you next Tuesday for that conversation about sugar and insulin and how your life will be so much better if you get your sugar addiction under control. This struggle is real for me. This is what I struggle with probably the most, more than anything else. So I will be taking my own advice as I share this information with you, and we'll do it in a more concise, not so overwhelming way. So I can't wait to see you next time. I hope you were blessed by today's conversation, and I love you guys. I'm praying for you always, and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about today's conversation. I'd love to hear what you're thinking.